Okay, let me just grab my script. Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is another tips and tricks video for anyone who's trying to beat True Nightmare and get their diamond ranks, this time featuring the auto rifle. These videos are less guides and more full playthroughs of a typical True Nightmare run where I share my thought process and decision making to help you secure your victory without needing to rely too much on RNG. I try to make these videos stand alone, but if you find it helpful, I recommend checking out the other videos in the series. That said, this is also the first video since the most recent major update, the Variety Update Part 2, and so previous videos might be out of date, even though the core concepts might still stand. This seemed like a great opportunity to kick off with the auto rifle, the weapon you can start with, and arguably the most well-rounded weapon, and try to touch on some more fundamental concepts like putting together a build, dealing with each type of enemy, and island strategies. Hopefully this video can be a good starting point for those trying to get diamond. Auto rifle is a jack of all trades, so while it may not excel in any one thing, it's a consistent weapon and good to practice True Nightmare with, in my opinion anyway. The recent updates gave it an attack speed buff, so it feels very nice to shoot, and it has a pretty fair proc rate for any kind of mod, which we'll talk about later. For my abilities and weapons, since I'm kind of thinking that I want this to be, like if you were to start out and you just wanted the most general, well-rounded build, I think most people would agree that hammer is probably your best bet. It has a really great size, radius, so it has great AoE, does good damage, especially in the early islands, which is nice for auto rifle because you don't really have that much AoE to work with right out of the gate. And it also serves as a little bit of extra mobility, which we'll probably talk about some tricks you could do with that. I think any ability is fine. If you really wanted to win True Nightmare, I would honestly say grappling hook is your best bet, just because it's safe. But for the purpose of this video, I think I'm actually going to go with Ice Blast, which I think is probably more accessible for the usual player, and it's just always good. Early on, it does good damage in this AoE, as well as like freezing things to help hit them. Later on, even if you don't get a lot of like grenade mods or ability mods to increase the damage or effects of the Ice Blast, it still freezes things, so it's still always a great like clutch defensive move. As far as the key totem goes, I'm actually not going to pull anything from the key totem, because one of the things I really want to showcase with these videos is that you don't need RNG. You don't need to like re-roll the key totem over and over to get a great starting item to carry you. It's totally possible to win True Nightmare without getting the best of luck. So if these are helpful, then, you know, hopefully you just go into your next True Nightmare and you pull something out of the key totem and it just makes that run all the easier. As another little tidbit, I have a lot of keys, and therefore I'm probably not going to really be picking up keys. I'm actually going to be salvaging them for crystals instead. If you feel like if you need keys, you know, feel free to pick them up. Otherwise, salvaging them mid-run can be like a nice little bump of extra crystals, so just better economy. Anyway, let's do it. As like a general starting tip, one thing that I really like to do is break all of the rocks that I see on an island. You'll always have a chance to spawn an item whenever you break a rock, but only if there are enemies still remaining on the island. So it's just nice, and it works a lot like Driller. If you get more stacks of Driller, the perk that causes that same effect, then you just kind of increase your chances. What do we got for this first one? So, trick shot's probably not the play because I'm going to be aiming quite a bit, especially to use like the slowdown effect. I think heavy hitter or FMJ would be pretty fine. I think I'm gonna go heavy hitter because the auto rifle attack speed is pretty decent already. So this is just like a little bit of extra damage to work with. Two tricks that I'm going to be doing throughout the run. After the end of every island, once I loot the chest, I'm going to be using the auto loot hotkey. Mine's set to Q, but I think it's L by default nowadays. When you do that, and you listen closely, if there's an extra chest that spawns on the island, you'll hear it open, and you'll get an idea of where it's at. So that's just a really easy way to confirm if there's any extra loot on the island. And in a general sense, and this is probably the first real pro tip that I would give to anyone trying to get their diamond, I'm going to be exploiting launch pads as much as possible. Since all crystals just kind of come to you, there's no real reason for you to be anywhere near enemies if you can afford it. So I'm just going to be spending a lot of time in the air where enemies really won't be able to hit me, and I'm going to be playing a lot around launch pads. One little tech trick that I would recommend getting used to is when you touch a launch pad and you press jump at the same time, you'll get an extra boost, versus this is what it looks like without that boost. In general, this is a tip that applies to a lot of different things in the game, but for my purposes, anytime you see me get very high up, that's probably why. For this next island, I think either of these choices are fine. I think I'm probably going to go with the damage and just try to get a little bit of damage early on. In general, you're going to want to commit a lot to damage if you can, and just try your best to play particularly safe. Again, there's no real reason to be anywhere close to enemies if you can avoid it. I'll also typically, you can kind of see here that on this island I'm kind of moving around in a big circle. One main strategy that I do for pretty much any run, even in Ultra Chaos, is I'll try to keep enemies in one space if I can and try to control them in that space. I tend to refer to it as corralling. The main reason being I want to make sure I know where every enemy is on the map at all times. I want to make sure they're all in front of me so nothing is like sneaking up on me or hitting me from where I can't see them. And it also just, you know, serves to do more damage if I can AoE them down a little bit better. This is a surprisingly big island. Come on, let me... Yeah! Nice. Okay. What do we got? So Time Shot is probably the pickup here. Wind Up's not bad either because out of the gate, Auto Rifle has a pretty big magazine, so, you know, it's pretty easy to exploit Wind Up. You'll probably get decent value out of it. I actually like Time Bolt as well. It does decent damage, and it's eligible for enhancements, which we'll talk about later. But I think Time Shot's really the play here. In fact, I would argue that Time Shot's probably one of the better weapon mods in the game right now because of its interaction with crit. Even though this is causing my damage to get staggered over time, each of those ticks can crit, and that can activate critical strike perks like Critical Blast or Critical Arrow. So in general, it's just like, there's really no downside besides that your enemies will kind of delay in dying, but that's generally okay. Either of these would be fine, actually. I think I might go for the damage chest, because an early horde will give a little bit more money. I would say in a general sense, horde islands will always give more crystals. Either of these would be fine. I'm definitely going to want to go for some elemental eventually, for really any elemental option, but the main one that I would be looking for is poison. In like a general sense, whenever I'm thinking about what I want to build on any weapon, I tend to lean more into the strengths of the weapon rather than trying to cover for its weaknesses. So while like Auto Rifle's main weakness is probably just like its AoE, I'm still going to try to focus as much on single target as possible because that's sort of what it's designed around. And one of the best single target elements is poison, of course, but I might find like some lightning or something to help out with AoE if the opportunity presents itself. These are kind of this isn't a great pull. Chaotic Shot wouldn't be bad because since my projectiles are bullets, they don't really veer that much. But I think I'm actually gonna go Streak Shot because it'll be, the damage increase is like actually pretty fair per shot that you hit, as long as you're actually hitting them. On Auto Rifle, it's not too hard to at least get like 5 or 6 shots, so it's not bad. It's sort of like a mini wind-up. The damage chest horde is really tempting, but I actually think I think either of these options would be okay, but I think I'm going to go with the health chest. Well, I'm thinking the health chest because I want some armor to give me a little bit of buffer, or if I can find a fortitude and start stacking it as soon as possible. That would be really ideal. I think Fortitude's really strong for just passive max health gain. But the Horde Island damage chest is really, really tempting. Yeah, I'm just going to punch it. Again, you know, damage is pretty key. True Nightmare, you will probably want to lean more into getting damage than getting survivability. but it also really just depends on your comfortability with the game. Healing perks and weapon mods are fine too, if you feel like you're taking a lot of damage, but it's truthfully, like, it's probably better to just to figure out why you're taking so much damage and deal with that rather than trying to compensate for healing. That said, I do occasionally like pick up healing every now and then. It's not like a bad pick. There are certain healing mods that are really useful. In fact, I might do it here. We'll see. So I'm not going to do Iron Claws because that's just miserable on Hammer. Wind Up is again a decent choice, but I actually think I'm going to pick the Equalizer, and I guess this is a really great opportunity to talk about Equalizer. Equalizer gives you a damage bonus if all of your equipped weapon mods, ability mods, and perks are all even. That means that as long as the number in each of these categories, the number of individual like perks and mods that I have is an even number, the bonus will be active. So when I pick this up, this isn't going to be active. I have 3 here and 1 here. I need 2 here and 4 here. 0 counts for the grenade mods. But in reality, I'm actually probably not going to play around this too much right now. This Equalizer is going to be for later. Once I start getting into like the second row of mods and perks, that's when I might start worrying about it a little bit more, because that will be around the time that my build is sort of like solidified. But Equalizer is a really great source of damage scaling, and for one of these longer runs to 64 islands, you need to think about damage scaling in the second loop. That's the only way that you can really keep up with the health increase. As much as I want the speed chest here, I'm gonna grab the health chest. I think what I'm looking for is a fortitude, but I would be okay with some armor as well. If you struggle with this map, whenever I'm in like a sketchy situation, which like in this case, there's a lot of pumpkins over there, and I even saw an enraged grub, I actually tend to play around the water in the back. Oh, that enraged grub's getting to me. Water does hinder your movement, which is a really important thing to keep in mind. Nice, got it. When I'm playing around water, I will do a lot of bunny hops. Water, it hinders your movement, but when you land on the ground, I'm actually going to cut this corner. Nice. Whenever you're cutting around that corner, just make sure you check what's around the corner. Ooh. Just had a sneeze in the middle of all that. Yeah, when you're in the water, you know, like your movement speed gets slowed down quite a bit, but you do like lose traction a little bit when you're touching the ground. I'll try this in a sec. So like notice when I just land in the water, I still move forward a little bit. This is like clearly different than what happens on the ground where you just stop. You can use that to your advantage and sort of use it to bunny hop, and that's a really great way to move through the water if you ever have trouble. And as long as you're alternating with dashes I'm not pressing forward at all. This is literally just me dashing. But you can see that it's carrying a lot of your momentum. So on this map, whenever it gets like too sketchy in the center island, I'll take off to that outside edge. There's the fortitude. That's great. The silver heart's tempting too, but yep, that's what I want. And here again, I'm getting a lot of damage chests, which is great. Like, damage chests are awesome. This is a pretty tough choice. I'm actually going for the luck chest. A, to show off demolition islands. B, because the last island in any biome before the shop is generally the most dangerous. So if you can get like a horde or a demolition island on that one, that's preferable because it'll just be a safe way to get into the shop, and then you can spend money. But also, right now in the current version of the update, I think the perk Driller is really strong, particularly because when we get into the desert biomes later, there's a lot of cacti, and those cacti all have a chance to drop an item when you have Driller. So, if you're looking for like a sort of general build to go for, going for luck chests and trying to get Driller can be a really great way to like kick off your build and scale out of control. So I'm gonna do that. Whenever I do a demolition island, I actually first like to start off by kind of scouting around and see what I'm working with. Mostly checking to make sure there's no totems that I want to hit. Like, I thought that was a fuse totem for a second. I'm not going to hit this gold totem because I'd really like to not be swayed by RNG in this run, and that seems like a good way to be swayed by RNG. If you feel up to hitting gold totems, go for it. All the power to you. I also just like figuring out where all the nests are in case I need to like do some sort of path. In a general sense, demolition islands are kind of hit or miss in how easy they can be, and it depends on how much damage you're doing. If you're not doing enough damage to like blow up a nest outright, then you should take it slow, which I don't think I'm at that point. I'm going to be hitting this nest a couple times to get enemies to spawn, and then I'm going to kill those enemies kind of one by one. If you continue wailing on nests, or even if you try to kite around and kill all the nests while you're just like trying to avoid enemies, it's really easy to get overwhelmed. There's also another benefit to taking it a little bit slower in that we're about to hit a shop, so this seems like a really great way to get some extra cash coming in. I think the biggest thing to worry about is that these can spawn like shotgun crabs and I think sniper crabs. So yeah, I'm just hitting it until things spawn, and then I kill the thing that spawned, and then I head back. Whoa, okay. But the downside's to, whoa! Got hit by that, that's too bad. That's alright though, we're about to go into the shop, so I don't really lose that too much. I'll try to talk about like movement and stuff as I go along. It's pretty tough to talk about movement in the middle of fighting. I guess like as a general starting pro tip, your dash has iframes on it. If you're not familiar with the concept of iframes, it's short for invincibility frames. That means if that an attack hits me, and I dash through it, let's see if I can actually show it off. That. Yeah, see how much money I'm getting though? This is great. This is awesome. Here we go. So if an attack is coming for me, and I dash through it, oh god, aim. Come on, man. Help me out here. No, that's the ground. Oh, man. Whew, I need a real enemy. I need an ant or something that can actually aim, apparently. Here we go. Yeah. Wow. Huh. I think I just jumped over that. They ruined my demo here. Ah, there we go. Hear that whoosh? That was me iframing that attack. That's pretty much the point I was trying to get at. So generally when I think about movement, I do want like there's a trade-off to it. Your dash is really good for maintaining your momentum as you kite around, which is one of the biggest things that you should be doing. You should be staying far away from anything that could potentially hit you. You should be giving yourself enough range as possible to avoid any projectiles. As you can see here, I'm using my dash to move backwards as I fight that thing. So point one, your dash is for movement. But if you're in a dicey situation, your dash is for survivability as well. And so if you ever see me in like a tight spot, you'll probably notice that I don't actually dash much at all. Right now I'm doing a little bit of a slide jump bunny hop combo, although occasionally I'll just do a standard bunny hop too. I'm doing this and I'm staying in the air as much as possible to prepare myself for being able to dash. You'll see me like move around corners, and if attack is coming at me right as I round the corner, I know that I'll have my dash up to deal with it. Chest. So this is the driller pickup, like I said. Oh, nice. We got a glass totem. Ring of Reloading. That's a great pickup. I just got pretty lucky there. Ring of Reloading is going to give me my ammo sustainability for quite some time. Eventually, for any weapon, you're going to want to find some sort of way to maintain your ammo. That could be efficiency, especially for like a faster firing weapon like the auto rifle. Efficiency is great on it. That could be all you can eat, which is arguably like the best. Or it could be this Ring of Reloading, which increases my reload speed. Actually, all you can eat is probably not the best. The best is probably the ammo ring that you get from relic chests that causes you to reload when you dash, which I will probably get eventually. We'll see. So whenever I get into a shop, in a general sense, I want to enhance at least once. Enhancements are a new mechanic introduced in the Variety Update Part 2. The way this works is if you have a mod or a grenade mod and some perks, if you have a mod that can be enhanced, you'll see a little lightning bolt on the tooltip. I'm sure we'll see it later. And when you hit this enhancement totem, it will choose a random mod in your inventory and add a random enhancement modifier to it. This could be like chaotic or snaking, that changes the way that that projectile moves. It could be like toxifying or flaming, so it applies an element. It could be damaging, which just outright increases the damage. It could be splitting, which causes it to split. There's a lot of different enhancements. In general, most of them also give a damage bonus, which is a really important thing to note, so that even if you get something like chaotic or snaking, that might be annoying on your dagger arc, or you have, or you get homing on thorn shot, which kind of inherently has homing. It's not completely useless. You're still getting a damage bonus. If anything, it's literally just paying X amount of money to get a damage bonus. So it's still generally worth it to try to hit it once. In this case, I don't have anything that I can enhance, so we're not doing it this time. And I think I'm going to pick up this armor. I like to look for armor as much as possible. I think I'm going to grab this paycheck. That's actually a really nice pickup for a little bit of extra econ, but I didn't really have any. I don't think I want to commit to heavy hitter. I might actually get rid of this eventually because attack speed is so important. But for now, the rank 1 should be fine. More armor sounds good. And that's all the armor, or the crystals I have. 2 armor plates out of a shop is great. Yeah, Elite Island. So we got a Poison Grub and a Fire Skull. I'm probably going to be focusing down the Fire Skull first because even though the grubs are going to be really annoying, the Fire Skull is probably the most threatening to me. I can avoid the grubs and I can avoid the Poison Grub's attacks, but the Fire Skull is going to be constantly putting down fire, which is just annoying. Make sure you're breaking these rocks since we have Driller. And I'm just waiting. You'll see me occasionally wait for attacks to fly through. Fire Skull projectiles are pretty slow, so they can be a little misleading on when they might hit you. So I tend to just kind of wait. And since I'm getting cut off between the 2 of them, I'm just going to fly through the middle. Should be able to get the Fire Skull here. Perfect. Done. And I get hit for free. That's nice. A parting gift from the Fire Skull. Now I can kind of focus on the Poison Grub. On this island, I typically just try to hang out around this outside edge. There are times when I might go into the middle to try to like collect crystals on Ultra Chaos or what have you. But for Nightmare, it's pretty safe to just kind of hang out on the outside edge. If you're kiting things, you know, make sure you stay in front of them. See if we can get a hammer here. Nice, just a little extra damage. Alright, not bad. I took a free hit from the Fire Skull at the end of his life. That's probably a mistake, but it'll be okay. I'll grab this armor to help out with that. And I think this is a clear damage shot angle. I think Shotgun Blast isn't bad, especially on auto rifle, because I'm generally very like forward shooting anyway. And I don't want healing. As I said, I'm going to try to avoid healing in favor of just like not getting hit. Damage shot is a clear pickup though. This is a pretty good bump in damage and should help out a ton. Even though I do kind of say that, like, you know, you want to break rocks before the island ends, and I typically break them as soon as possible, there's always an argument to, like, keep rocks alive for when you actually need to kill stuff, and playing around that. In general, I would say that's the optimal way to play it, especially with, like, the purple rocks that I just broke. The lightning rocks are probably the best ones in the game. They just do a ton of AoE damage. If you can kite enemies through one of those purple lightning rocks, like you're pretty golden. Fire rocks are pretty similar. The red energy ring rocks can be great for creating some space and even doing a little bit of extra damage. I'm going to continue getting the equalizer here. Time Bolt is actually really tempting to give me something to enhance, but I'm actually equalized now, so this is just a pretty fair amount of damage. And I think here I'm going to go for a damage chest. I think the upgrade chest would have been fine too, because I have so few perks, and I can maybe get like an upgraded damage shot, which would be really awesome. But I think I'm really looking for something to enhance. On this island, you can hang out in this room right here if you want. If you decide to do that, the main thing you want to know is that some enemies will try to come around on the left side over here. You might even be able to see one. Yep, see, just like this. It's also a starfish. So you just want to be careful of that. You don't want to camp in there too long. As another like random pro tip, I think what you'll see me do often is check behind me. Just do a quick look behind me to make sure nothing is coming behind me. Whether you like it or not, I think that's just a really smart thing to do, and you should get used to it. Because this game, you know, enemies get stuck, enemies are sneaky, things can be coming behind you. So it's just a good habit to get into, to check behind you at all times. These are both great picks. Do I just keep going? The equalizer? Pumping time shot isn't bad either. I think I'll pump time shot because I expect to break equalizer eventually in the next few islands, whereas the time shot will serve me well throughout the whole run, really. It's a pretty interesting pickup. This is actually kind of tempting, the elite, because I'm pretty sure I could take on the elite no problem. I have paycheck. I need a little bit better econ. This would really not be a bad idea, but I think I'm going to go for the elite and hope that I can get a really nice epic mod of some sort. Also, if this is the ice ring map, it's not. If it is the ice ring map, it would have just been like totally free. Alright, so I'm kind of... Notice here how I'm just kind of like moving very slowly along the edge of the map. This is because I don't want to rush to the other side of the map and force that barrel skull to kind of like cut through the middle to catch up to me. I want both the barrel skull and the elite pumpkin to be in the same spot, so I can keep eyes on them, both of them at the same time. So I'll just try to take it a little bit slower as I kite around the map to ensure that. Elite barrel skulls are actually a really great use case for making sure you constantly check behind you, just like I was talking about, because the worst thing you could do is kind of back up into a barrel that's for some reason exploding on you, and it totally screws you over. This is excellent. This is exactly what I wanted. Thorn Shot is a perfect pickup to enhance. Thorn Shot's great on auto rifle. It procs pretty often. It, again, plays into my playstyle of very like forward shooting. And it's a really awesome choice for enhancements. I would say it's probably top 5 enhancement mods. And this is the little lightning bolt that I was talking about, plus it says enhanceable in the tooltip. For this one, I think it's a clear parkour. In my opinion, you should always go for parkour. In terms of doing parkour, especially on this one, I think this ice parkour map is probably the hardest one to do. You really just want to take it slow. You have plenty of time to make it to the end, and usually I don't try to do anything fancy. I'll slide along the ground, maybe do a dash. For this part, you can actually avoid this, even though I messed up the momentum because I was trying to explain it. And for the ice, you just want to be careful. I just slide down the ice, do a nice jump. Make sure you hit that jump pad, because if you miss it, you're screwed. Alright. Okay, so Shotgun Blast is back. I don't want it yet. Gemstone's perfect. I need some form of scaling, and I'd say 2 of the best perks in the game for damage scaling are Checklist and Gemstone, so this is just a really excellent pickup. Once I get to like Island 30 or 40 or whatever, this will have quite a bit under its belt. And here I'm definitely going to go for the econ. I really want a little bit extra money coming in. So this map can be pretty challenging. I need to kill this real quick, hold on. This can be pretty challenging just because enemies get bonus movement speed on the ice, so it's very easy for them to catch up to you and jump on you, which is one of the main complaints about this map. The big pro tip that I have is, as you can see, I'm kind of just kiting them around. The main thing is I'm turning around and sliding forward whenever I decide to move forward. You also get, this is where Ice Blast is going to come in handy, I think. Oh, never mind. You also get quite a bit of bonus movement speed when you're sliding on ice, as long as you're moving forward. The movement speed bonus is not as high if you're moving sideways or backwards. So I typically will just try to move around in circles and just turn around and shoot every so often. And in a general sense, this island probably shows off a good core concept, which is that, like, succeeding in True Nightmare and all that, it's a little scary, is really all about target prioritization. Everything on the map I can mostly ignore. These crabs, the slugs, they're not going to get to me anytime soon. That lightning ant, though, while I'm... Ooh, that was ironic. That lightning ant, though, he has the potential to shoot me. That chaotic grub has the potential to hit me, and in general, they're just annoying to deal with, so I might end up shooting them, but there's also the alternative of staying very far away from them and dealing with all the stuff that's chasing me. On a normal map, I would probably single out the range targets first, but on this one, I think the threatening targets are actually probably the crabs that are chasing me, since they've already kind of hit me a couple times anyway. It is feeling like I'm lacking in AoE, so I'll probably need to come up with a solution for that eventually. Auto rifle does really well with targeting shot. Something like arc shot would be a pretty fine pickup too. I just don't really care for arc shot on the bullet weapons. I don't think it really procs enough to be useful. And your bullets are pretty small, so it's kind of hard to actually hit things. So targeting shot would be great, scattering shot would be great, a dagger arc would be awesome. Those are all epic mods though and might be a little bit harder to find. God, this island is taking forever. So what I might actually look for is some lightning. I think lightning is a really great, easy source of AoE if you are running a weapon that is a little bit more single target focused. You can see that I alternate between like slowing down a lot. I think it's just a really good habit to get into. There's even points where I'm like staggering my slowdowns just to like really trip out the enemy tracking. Alright, that could have been cleaner, but it worked out. I think this is a crystal combo. Gold heat coating is honestly not useful. Special delivery is not bad, but it's not enough for me right now. I'm gonna go for the crystal combo and just get more money coming in. And this is a clear damage chest. I think the spike chest would have been fine too because I'm about to hit a shot. But I don't know. I kind of feel like I wanna hold on to some of my health right now. This is awkward. Notice right now I'm just trying to corral things. I'm killing stuff, of course, but I'm focusing on making sure I group everything up so I have more control over where they're going. Especially on a big map like this, where, in a general sense, I can stay very far away from everything. And this is a perfect example of a map where, like, I'm gonna start trying to get these ranged enemies, because they're the most threatening enemies right now. I don't need to worry about the crabs; they're not catching up to me. I don't need to worry about the ice slugs. If the ice slugs jumped on me, that would be problematic. But so far, it doesn't seem like that's gonna be happening anytime soon. But these skulls, you know, they can obviously still hit me, so I'm just going to try to take them out one at a time. This is where Thorn Shot comes in handy. Thorn Shots are really great for priority targeting like that. Now that everything's dead and I've got a nice corral right in front of me, I can start focusing on killing stuff. Ice slugs you got to be a little bit careful about because once they explode, everything kind of gets spread out and frozen. Doesn't help that I also have Ice Blast, which just contributes to the problem. Just run that, yeah. And there sure is a lot of these. Maybe I can like, oh, that one's healthy. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill that real quick. When it comes to movement tech, I think the most basic one with hammer is probably just doing the standard dash into a hammer slam like that, and then dashing at the end of the hammer slam. Your cooldown for your dash will generally be up by the time the hammer is coming down, so you can just do that. It's a great way to like maintain some forward momentum, as well as get some vertical. In a general sense, I like to be as high as possible over things, even just like being just barely vertical over something like a crab can result in you not getting hit. So for this one, time shot would be bad, but I think this is a clear damage combo pickup. I think damage combo is one of the another one like really great damage scaling perk in the game. And I guess this is a great time to talk about damage in general. Damage sort of breaks down to two kinds of damage. There's your weapon damage, which primarily comes from weapon mods, and global damage, which primarily comes from perks. Weapon mods increase your damage based on your weapon's base damage. That's where you see the things like time shot's a great example because it increases damage by 100%. The base damage for auto rifle is 5. Each hit does 5 damage. Time shot increases that by 100%, so now my shots deal 10 damage, and now they currently do 15 damage. That's where we see like this weapon damage stat come in, and that's where adding all these weapon mods together increases the damage of my individual weapon shots. But things like equalizer, gemstone, and damage combo, they all increase global damage. Global damage applies to everything. It applies to your projectiles, but it also applies to mods like thorn shot, or it applies to crits. Or if you have Lightning Aura, increases the damage done by Lightning Aura. If you have Crimson Haze, increases the damage done by Crimson Haze. Global damage is your best bet for scaling into the second loop, and just generally doing damage. So things like damage combo, which is a really easy way to get a bunch of bonus damage just for basically not getting hit, or even equalizer, which like requires a little bit of inventory management, but is like a really solid way of getting global damage as well. These are the things that I'm going to be looking for in order to scale my build into the second loop. These things like heavy hitter and streak shot, they're good for now, and I'm going to hold on to them, and they'll probably be helpful later on, but these are not ultimately what's going to be helping me like stay alive. We need a lot of global damage, which so far we've been doing great with. Once I get like a little bit more settled in my build, this equalizer is going to come in handy. Damage combo is awesome. If I can get more damage combos, that's just going to be even better. And I've got a little bit of extra scaling from gemstone. I will probably... So I got a little bit of money to work with. I also have a crystal totem that I can hit. In fact, let's just start off with that. Since I have all the healing available at the shop, I can hit that twice, evidently. Just give me some extra money to work with. And I want to hit this enhancement totem at least once to get thorn shot something. We're going to hit it. I got chaotic. So... Chaotic will make it so... It actually doesn't really matter, now that I'm looking at it. Chaotic makes it so that my thorns will kind of... You see that it, like, veers off. Wow, that's really good veering off. Which normally would be kind of annoying, but Thorn Shot has kind of a natural homing element to it anyway, so this is perfect. I don't care about this at all. The only thing that this gives me is a 50% damage bonus from the Chaotic Enhancement. So that's a pretty nice pickup. I'm kind of tempted to hit it a second time, but I'm going to grab some stuff from the shop since I feel like, you know, that's a pretty good one to start with. And I think this paycheck is probably what I'm going to grab to get a little bit of extra money coming in. The heart is pretty tempting, but if I buy this heart, I won't be able to really buy anything else, and I really want to reroll and see what's in the next shop. Another time shot is fine. The big hearts is pretty good right now, so that's also tempting. I might grab that. Or I can sell something and enhance, but I don't really have anything that I can sell. I would have to sell 2 things or an epic mod, which is just not going to work for me. So I think I will pick up this big hearts, just to have it. And I think that's a good spot to be in. Alright, this is the easiest island. Generally, they'll just kill themselves, so I like to hide behind this rock just to make sure I'm behind cover. He says moments before getting hit by the weird red explosion of the ice skull. Oh, I think my thorn shot is like, whoop, there it goes, homing onto nearby crabs. It's kind of interesting. Surprised the barrel skull didn't kill itself. Yeah, this island is weird because things just eventually kill themselves. Like I said, I'm going to be salvaging keys. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. That's really tempting because I feel pretty confident that I can flawless elite and boss islands, but I also think I want to just keep pumping the damage shot. That sounds like a great pickup. And here I'm gonna get the armor. Sure. I don't know if I heard the chest open. The chest here spawns right there. Although I think I've seen another one. I can't remember. Alright, desert biome. Oh, and we got a bunch of totems. Just make sure none of these are glass totems. Yep. So this is where Driller starts to come into play, and I'm going to be focusing a lot on killing cacti as I do these islands. In fact, my main focus is at the start of every island is just going to be burning every cacti that I can. Every cactus, I guess. Didn't get any procs, but that's okay. They also, you know, do a ton of damage to enemies, so that's nice in its own right. Desert biome's pretty easy. A lot of the island maps, or island stages, or whatever you want to call them, are pretty big, so it's just easy to kite things out. I like to hit gamble totems at least once, because if I lose 473 crystals for nothing, that's fine. But if I get something, then that's a really cheap pickup. These are kind of bunk. I think I'm gonna... Steady shot wouldn't be bad because I am aiming quite a bit, but I'm not always aiming, so I don't know if I really want that. Time bolt is fine though. We got a bit of a damage over time proccing build going on. I'm going to be shooting out both thorn shots and time bolts. That's kind of cool. And here's the crit chest we've been looking for. This is going to be awesome for time shot, time bolt, and thorn shot because all of their ticks of the damage over time can crit. Oh, and that was a red crystal, so I'm just going to go straight to that launch pad and play it safe. I'll break some of these cacti while I'm here. I'm also going to try to focus that pumpkin. This map is probably the hardest desert biome map because enemies can get stuck in the tunnel. And if they get stuck there too much... This is actually kind of awkward. Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. If they get stuck there too much, that's where anti-camping can kick in, and then they'll start flying all over the map, and it's very frustrating. So I like to hang out up here a lot of the time, and occasionally I'll come down to make sure that they don't activate anti-camping, but otherwise try to stay out of the tunnel as much as possible. I honestly would caution even going down there. It's such like a small arena. You can see here that like this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that I exploit the launch pads. Well, that was convenient. Yeah, glue grenade? Yeah, okay. I don't know really how that works with Ice Blast. When I hit this and I fly into the air, I will usually slow myself down. I'll even start spamming some dashes so I can just stay in the air a little bit longer. When you're playing around the launch pads, the main thing that you need to know is that you need to touch the ground in order to get your slowdown back from your ADS. So if you just go straight back into the launch pad, you don't get the slowdown anymore. Just want to make sure you touch the ground barely, and then, you know, you'll be able to hang out in the air for longer. Oh. So sharpshooter and hotshot, I think, comes down to personal preference. I prefer sharpshooter because I like to play it safer, and I've never really felt like I've been hungry for crit when I go like sharpshooter. Hotshot, though, if you feel like you're really comfortable with not getting hit, then like it's the clear option. I've just had moments where I regret picking up a lot of hotshots, and I'm going to be stacking a lot of crit. That's really the main point. I would really like to go for this Luck Island to get more Driller, but I feel like the damage chest is probably better, as well as the Horde. It's just generally safer and more crystals. Horde maps are really good. Honestly, like, you can never really go wrong just picking the Horde Island for each option. Especially if you manage to find a checklist, then Horde Islands just sort of turn into free damage. See if I can get a good hammer here. Some extra AoE damage off. Like I said, I'm really hungry for AoE at the moment. Blender. I'm gonna grab this because I have the money to burn, and it's kind of nice just for like a little bit of extra hammer mobility. But I might sell this eventually. We'll see. These are kind of not great. I think I'll take Snake Shot. Neither of them should really affect the bullets too much, so it's just kind of free damage, but I'll probably be getting rid of that eventually. And here, as much as I want to go for the skill chest, there's quite a few things that I want from a skill chest, like pretty much any of the epic items, truthfully, or even a coral amulet. I really could use the health. But if I get a coral amulet, gosh, that'd be nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the health. I really need like some sort of armor. Just gonna run to the edge and start cutting things around while I kill cacti. Saw one in the middle there. I see a laser skull. I'm gonna try to prioritize that. Again, laser skulls are capable of hitting me even while I'm kiting, so I want to deal with them as quickly as possible. When it comes to like dealing with enemies, I mean, I guess I suppose in a general sense, you just want to be moving randomly. Like even if you're moving around in circles like this, that can really trip out enemy tracking and help you out with survivability. But usually, I'm like moving in a specific like figure 8 pattern, honestly. Just make sure I got everything. Yeah. There's some armor, I'll take that. I'm not gonna go for the greed chest. Again, I wanna try to avoid RNG, or heavy RNG, I should say, as much as possible. Also, I just want more damage. I would just love more damage the rest of the run, truthfully. Pumpkins are pretty annoying, so I'm just dealing with them real quick. I see I see a scorpion. Okay, so I've just set myself up for kind of tough situation. I popped a red crystal. I have a grenade crab and a scorpion. I'm gonna try to get the scorpion because I think that's the most volatile of the enemies. I can deal with the grenade crab. Probably not gonna catch up to me. I didn't really see... Oh, they're ice slugs. Okay. Ice slugs are totally doable. Yeah, we'll get the grenade crab here. Did I not kill the scorpion? Oh. Oh, I think that thorn shot actually went into the ground. That's the problem with chaotic, I suppose. I don't want endurance. Actually, maybe I should have taken that. Recoil shot. That's not terrible. I can work with that. I think that'll be okay. I'll probably get rid of it eventually, but another thorn shot sounds great. Power armor is another really great damage scaling perk, similar to damage combo or equalizer. The problem with power armor is obviously I don't have armor right now, and I'm not really confident that I'm going to be able to keep armor right now. So if I rely too much on power armor, I just like, if I lose that armor, my damage goes down, and then I'm in a bad situation where I don't have survivability and I don't have armor. But I don't really need to think about that because I got another rank of Thorn Shot, which is definitely the play. Thorn Shot's kind of my main damage right now, so if I can proc that more and do more damage with it, that's awesome. I really want to go for this critical chest because I want to start getting more sharpshooter as well as get some of the epic crit mods, but this demolition elemental seems like a really easy pickup, and I want some poison too. Poison would be great. Poison would really like lock in my build, truthfully. I'm at the point where I'm doing plenty of damage to Nest, so I'm not really going to worry too much about like taking it slow. This is the other side of the demolition islands that I was talking about, where generally you just kind of kill things. It's just a free island. Guess I'm not killing them that fast. I can still farm a little bit. Whoa, okay, hold up. That's where the hammer came in handy. I guess a slug managed to sneak up behind me. I want to make sure I got all the cacti before I really commit to killing all these. Oh, it happened again. I don't know how that keeps happening. Nice. I would honestly not mind inefficiency. That sounds like it could be cool, actually. There's the poison shot. That's awesome. Poison shot is just incredible on auto rifle. In case you don't know how it works, each stack of poison shot increases the damage the target takes by like 1% from all damage. So it can scale very quickly and very strongly. I think fire shot is actually not a bad choice either. I think fire is a little underrated right now, although it still kind of pales in comparison to poison. Thankfully, fire shot actually works with poison, so if you end up doing like a hybrid poison fire build, you can do a lot of single target damage. For this shop, I really want to try to find some armor. I have a lot of money to work with, so I think I should be good to do that. I'm going to buy all three of these. I want more crystals, I want more equalizer, and another gemstone sounds awesome. For the hell of it, I'm actually going to pick up the heart too, and then spend the rest of the money on enhancements. Yeah, probably. So I'll do Thorn Shot one more time. I got Flaming, which is cool. That'll, like I said, that'll play with the poison, and it looks like I can stack it up really quickly. So that'll be awesome. I'm gonna hit this one more time. Well, am I? I'm gonna re-roll, because I should still have enough to enhance, yep. And I wanted to re-roll to see if I could get some armor, which I did. Can I afford this by selling the glue grenade? Yes, this is perfect because I'm going to get rid of this glue grenade eventually anyway to equalize. So might as well sell it for armor. And my damage is fine, so I don't really need to enhance the second or third time. What did I miss out on? Oh, the damage shot? That's fine. Yeah, that's perfect. Before I kill these elites, and I expect them to be killed very fast, I'm going to get all the cacti. Ooh. Nice, got some driller procs already. 3. Cool, yeah, 3. Now I can just focus them down. Use my hammer there to kind of avoid the elite lightning crab AoE. Easy, nice. What we get? Crystal combo, that's awesome. Wind up, that's awesome. And I'm just going to salvage that because I don't really need the health. Alright, there is a checklist. That is perfect. I'm going to get rid of the blender so it can be equalized going into this next biome. Checklist is going to be my primary way of scaling my damage for the rest of the run. In fact, I have everything that I need to maintain damage for the entirety of this run. I'm probably from here on going to be trying to get hordes as much as possible, just to really exploit checklist. If I can find a tasty orange, that would be great. That would really complement checklist. I suppose ultimately the only thing that I really need from here is some form of AoE. I still feel like I don't have enough AoE. Maybe I could try to find some lightning at the next element chest that I find. Maybe I could... I haven't gotten any skill chests, which is where I could find a targeting shot. And if I can get a dagger arc, that would be the most ideal, because I think dagger arc is one of the best mods in the game right now for anything, but especially AoE. I'm gonna go for this snake shot. It doesn't seem like it's affecting it too much, and I just heard a chest. I don't know if you heard that while I was talking, but there's a chest up there. I usually take this route. This is easy enough. If you have the hammer, then you can just pretty much jump over everything. Toxic is a great pickup. More poison. It doesn't look like I could get rid of the big hearts to equalize, but I don't necessarily need equalizer right now. It's fine if I just unlock a slot and remain unequalized. I'm gonna go health chest here and just try to round out my armor. On this map, if you don't have driller, it's pretty safe to just hang out in that corner and wait for things to come to you. Since I do have driller, I'm going to try to get stuck on crystals to trip out the enemies and not get killed by starfish. Since I do have driller, I'm gonna come back to this corner over here because this is where most of the rocks spawn on this map. Oh, that was close. This is also, if you have like a really seriously dangerous map, this is probably the safest place to be. Just because the jump pad's right here. This is a really great jump pad to exploit. You can just shoot down on everything here, and it's pretty easy to get back down and hit it again. And if it gets really dicey, you can always kite enemies up to this platform and then kill them up here. You just want to be careful because they will jump up here eventually, whether through the launch pad or through anti-camping mechanics. And in case you're not familiar with how that works, if enemies, I'll take a hell shot. If enemies, can't reach you for like a certain amount of time for whatever reason, they will start to, they will get a large burst of speed and then they will be able to fly for a short period of time in an effort to catch you. I'm gonna go damage here. So if you get to like a really high point on an island, you'll just want to be really careful because if all of the enemies below you start just rocketing at you, that's a really bad situation to be in a lot of the time. I see a launcher crab. This is a great island to showcase that like I just really exploit launch pads as much as possible. You just land on the other launch pad, just kite them around like that. Yeah, there we go. Focus on the launcher crab first, because I think that one's pretty annoying. Time shot would be great. I'm going to go with the damage combo and just try to keep that going. I don't really want to do a one hit. It'd be pretty embarrassing for me to lose right here, even though I probably wouldn't. I'm down for the elite, though. I think I can handle elite, no problem. I'd actually say that elites are pretty easy at the moment, especially at this juncture where I'm doing a lot of single target damage primarily. Again, there's that launch pad over there near the lava river that I just kind of like play around. Even as I'm like falling back to earth, I'll try to angle myself to fall on that launch pad. You'll just want to be careful as you're falling because you do have kind of less control. So if projectiles are coming at you while you're falling and you're like near the launch pad, you might just end up bouncing yourself into projectiles. Easy enough. Juiced seems like the pick here. I'm not really playing around my grenades, and I don't want fire claws. I don't think it's very good. Juiced, though, is incredible for my build. For this one, I kind of like to stack things in the corner here. If things get particularly dicey, what you can do is jump right here, and enemies will stack up below you. Again, you want to try to deal with them quickly, but they'll stack up enough that you can just sort of clean them up. And if you have something like Crimson Haze, or more AoE than I have, they will just pop. You just want to be sure to jump down at some point soon, otherwise they will, like I said, anti-camping will kick in and suddenly you got like a massive amount of enemies that are jumping up at you. You can kind of do the same thing right here at this spot if you jump up with the hammer. We'll talk about hammer tech in a second. This is a great island to show it off. So, one thing you'll notice is that I managed to jump up there with my hammer alone, and normally the hammer distance isn't really that much. You can see that I barely even made it halfway through. Conversely to the more like forward momentum where you dash and then do a hammer and then dash, which is great for traveling like a bit of distance quickly. This trick is more for vertical distance. If you use your hammer and then jump, you get an extra boost of momentum. It works very similarly to how launch pads work, where in essence, because you are moving vertically quickly, if you jump at the same time, that just adds more to your momentum, and you just get a little bit of extra height. So it's a great great thing to practice and learn because of situations where, like, if I get trapped in this corner here and like my choices are to go through this, which who knows what could be on the other side of that, or like run through all the enemies on this side. Those are pretty bad options, and this can be kind of hard to climb in the moment. But if you use that hammer tech, you get up there instantly and can easily make it to the other side very quickly. I tend to play around this ridge on this island a lot. I want the uppercut. Uppercut is another really excellent choice for auto rifle because of how quickly it shoots, and I think it's just a really great choice for really anything because the uppercut charges get sort of like stored between islands too, so they don't even really reset. You just sort of do more damage every 5th shot, which is great on any item or any weapon. As much as I want to do the elite, I really want to get some crit going. And this demolition map seems free. I see a glass totem over there that I want to hit. Arcane shot. That's awesome. Arcane shot also works with poison, so I'm going to be doing a lot of single target damage. This map is usually a horde map, and when it is, I play around this launch pad specifically. I'll usually just jump into the air right here, shoot things below me, and then come back and do it again. And just sort of hover in the air like this. This island, though, I think I can just run around and build a nest pretty easily. We have a lot of enemies on the map. Alright, that was a little sketchier than it needed to be. Okay, so critical arrow is probably the play. I don't think I have enough crit chance to really exploit it yet. But a second level of sharpshooter isn't really gonna help out with that, so I figure I might as well pick up the critical arrow now. It also helps me equalize for this this boss fight, which is fine too. Oh. What do we got? Ammo ring. Perfect. There's my ammo solution for the rest of the run. This is the best ammo item in the game because now I can just dash to reload and I never have to let go of left click, and it's awesome. It's a good find. I honestly kind of like Piercing Wave, but I don't think it would be an AoE mod, and I have been asking for it. I just don't know if I want Piercing Wave. You know what? What the hell? Let's grab it. I want to get rid of something, though. Yeah, the recoil shot seems fine. And I'm not going to reroll quite yet. I'm going to hit this enhancement totem at least once, and probably going to finish up the thorn shot. We got spiraling, which is fine. It's very similar to chaotic, where like it doesn't matter too much. It looks kind of cool, actually. My thorn shot's just home anyway, so like this is just bonus damage. Spiraling is another one that gives 50% more damage. Bubble shot, you don't say. That's a definite pickup for me. We'll get rid of the health shot. Bubble shot's one of the best perks in the game, and fortunately I don't think I can get that crystal combo. Unless I... Nope, okay. Oh, that's okay. I feel like I have plenty of money anyway. So we got a giant ant and a king skull. So this is a great use case for this launch pad right here. If you're doing the boost jump, you can actually jump up to these pillars and give yourself a little bit more room to work with. Though keep in mind, as you just saw, that they can kind of technically still shoot at you, especially if they're underneath the pillars. This king skull is freaking out. I think I should be able to kill it though. Otherwise, I just kind of hug around the edge and try to make my way back to the launch pad. I think my thorn shots are aiming on the other enemies. There we go, perfect. Yeah, if you hit this launch pad, pretty easy to get up here with the boost. You can even get to the other side if you really want to. It's worth practicing if you're not quite comfortable with it. And like I said, I'm going to be salvaging every key, so like the boss island is just a really good bump in money. But if you did need keys and you've been salvaging them up to this point, I would probably recommend picking up those keys at least. It's just like a good burst. Okay, so this is good because I didn't really want like something super busted. I think all of these are fair. I think I like Bomb Shot a lot, actually, but I think I want Poisonous Enemies. I think this will help out with my AoE woes a little bit, and I like building around the poison that I've got going on. For this loop, I'm gonna maybe try to just speed things up and not focus too much on like explaining concepts in real time. I'm just gonna kill stuff and talk about what's happening. You can see that I'm once again hugging the outside edge of this island and just trying to play around the launch pad, trying to keep things stacked up, especially with my piercing wave. The awkward thing about piercing wave, it's honestly like a really great mod. It has a low proc chance, but it does a lot of damage, so I think it's a good trade-off in certain situations. The real predicament is that I play very vertically. I'm in the air very often, and it's very bad at hitting things while you're in the air. Just got hit by something random. So it's a lot better if you're on the ground like this, because then it can travel along horizontally and hit multiple enemies at the same time. Well, it's not like ideal for our use case. Dagger Arc is very similar, but Dagger Arc at least has the benefit of like bouncing. Is there something behind me? Yeah, there is. Sometimes this particular map can be kind of trippy, or tricky, I should say. So if you do get into trouble, you can come to this back corner, jump up here, especially with the hammer. This is like a very temporary safe spot. The main point of this spot is not necessarily to hide from attacks, but to make every enemy come right here so that you can then jump over them. And now suddenly this part of the island is a little bit more clear for you to move around in, and every enemy is corralled in the corner. They'll start chasing you around again, and they'll probably get scattered again, but this at least gives you a little bit of a reprieve. Again, focus on keeping things corralled, and I think that's the best way to play it. I want critical as much as I really want like a stamina or something. On this island, I will typically hang out right here. I think this is a blocker crab island. Yeah, this should be fine. I usually hang out right there until I am forced to move, and then I'll start hiding around the edge of the island in the water. Again, I'm just doing these bunny hop dashes to keep my momentum in the water. Watching for projectiles where I can. I'm kind of at the point where like I can target out specific enemies. Like the skulls are probably the biggest threat right now, but I'm also content to just sort of hold down left click and know that I'm going to be like hitting stuff, especially with Thorn Shot, and focus entirely on just avoiding and keeping my momentum. But if you're a real gamer, then yeah, you know, you'll oh god, I'm not a real gamer. You'll pause every so often and shoot at skulls and whatnot. This is probably a good time to like review the decisions I made earlier, which primarily is the Fortitude pickup and the Gemstone pickup. I got 625 max health out of Fortitude, which isn't bad. That's probably equivalent to like 2 silver hearts, or almost 3 silver hearts, I guess. Maybe like 3 or 4 blue hearts, whatever. And the Gemstone is at 116% more global damage, so that's excellent. The main point being that now I have 1600 max health. In case you're not aware, your armor plates each scale with your max health. I think it's like 1 plate equals out to 15% of your max health. So the real like core survivability in the game is really armor. And if you can pick up max health along the way to make your armor stronger, then that's perfect. Here I'm definitely going to pick up the sharpshooter and get a little bit more crit going. Speed is tempting, but I really want the armor. I think I'll be fine without it for now. The double speed chest is just the better choice in terms of value. A lot of times when I'm like making a decision on islands, I will try to lean into like what's the the most amount of value that I'm actually going to get out of the island. And if it gives me 2 items versus 1, even if the 1 is like maybe the better item, quote unquote, you know, I'll go for it. It always depends. If I'm like starving for damage, then I'm going to take a damage chest over anything else. This is another island where I just hang out around the outside edge. This one can be a little sketchy. First pro tip is to always look behind you because totems will spawn on this dock. In general, whenever you start an island, you should probably just check behind you real quick to make sure there's not like a fused totem or something. And I'll usually like wait until I'm forced to move in this dock. Again, waiting for enemies to come to me so they end up grouping up right here. And then I'll try to escape right this way while dodging stuff. And as long as I can make it to this rock for a little bit extra cover and then make it over here, then I'm usually pretty safe. This is a nice place to hang out in. Again, waiting for them to come to you and group up in this corner. And then you basically move to the other side. This is like a really good representation of the concept of corralling, because I'm corralling enemies here, and then I move from that spot. I know like they are generally all right there, and I'm moving to the other side of the island where it's safer, and then I repeat the process. I don't want to necessarily keep running around in circles, because then that spreads out enemies in the middle, and now suddenly I'm having to deal with like every enemy as I'm kiting. I'm considering the bulk of the enemies rather than each individual one. So if I can shoot them from over here and get them to come over here and then move on, I'm always in control of where the enemies are at. I always know where they're at. I always know where projectiles are coming from. I always can be shooting in one direction. I don't need to be like shooting over here and over here. I don't need to be checking behind me. This is like the fundamental concept of corralling, I would say. I'm probably going to take the stamina. Yeah, I think stamina's the best perk in the game. Would highly recommend. And I think I'll actually take... I'm going to take the adrenaline. Aerial shot's not bad either, but I'm not really staying in the air that much. And adrenaline is just like an extra little bit of attack speed. That does unequalize me. I think I have plenty of damage anyway, so I think I'll be okay. But if I notice a significant damage drop-off, I'll want to consider my inventory a little bit more. Here I'm going to go for the skill chest. Let's see if I can find like a targeting shot or something. This is another island that I play around the very far outside edge in the water. Again, I just use that technique where I'm bunny hopping and then dashing. And even though like water is very well known for hindering your movement, you can see here that I am moving just fine. I don't really even need to aim. I'm just focusing entirely on movement. Occasionally I might come back to the main island after everything's corralled and do like a bunch of AoE like this. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. And now that the main group is sort of cut down a little bit, I feel a little bit more confident in moving in closer to the island. But if I ever need to, I'll just come back to the water. It's honestly not a bad idea to return to the island occasionally anyway, just to get a quick speed boost, so you can get a little bit more momentum as you carry through the water. Otherwise, we're good. Good, we're just shooting at this point. Save the shield for last. It's not. Not exactly last. Oh, not exactly last indeed. Skill chest. These are bad. I am going to sell these because I don't care. And you know, last time I debated getting the health chest, I was at 3 armor, and I decided not to take it because I thought the 3 armor was plenty. I am still there. So maybe the 3 armor is plenty. Maybe I can just focus on damage. Oh, we got some starfish. Starfish are a really big priority for me. Again, going back to the concept of like, what is not necessarily the most damaging or threatening to kill me, but what is the most likely to be able to hit me while I kite? Usually it's going to be pumpkins. Usually it's going to be starfish because they're just going to charge straight at you. Again, just kiting around the outside edge, using that centerpiece as some cover. This is sort of an opposite sort of island where it's kind of nice to keep things in the middle because they're constantly blocked from hitting me by that centerpiece. And if I ever really need to dip out from a situation, I can just jump on the centerpiece, get to the other side of the island very safely. Do a little wiggle. A little hammer, get hit by something for free. I give the enemies a little bit of a handicap, you know. What's the critical arrow chance? What's my sharpshooter? I think I want one more sharpshooter. Yeah. And I think here I'm gonna go for elemental. Just try to get some more poison going. I think that is a fuse totem. Let's get over there quick. Stamina coming in handy. So now I need to kind of reset and make sure that enemies are corralled properly. I'm gonna hang out in this corner and try to avoid things. I did see a homing grub spawn on the other side of the map, so I just want to be careful. Probably gonna prioritize hanging out right here as much as possible. Got hit by something for free. I think that homing grub is approaching me. Yep, okay. We're actually now gonna move to the other side. We'll freeze that one. We won't freeze that one because we missed. We'll just kill it, I guess. Homing grubs are an interesting one. I don't necessarily prioritize them, but I respect them, and I consider that part of the island a danger zone, so I just cut off that corner from my mind. Minigun crabs. Oh god, that really could go quick. Minigun crabs are easy enough to deal with. You just want to make sure to continuously move to like your left or your right. Just pick a direction and stick to it. They don't really track ahead of you a lot of the time, so you should be able to just, you know, outpace them. Snatcher, no thank you. Poison shot? Toxic, I'll take that. I think for this shop, I'm going to be looking for some armor. I'm going to get that juiced up again. I have plenty of money. Actually, we're about to get really juiced up, so we'll grab the critical blast, which is great because it equalizes me. We'll grab drill shot because it's one of the best weapon mods in the game. I'm going to drop the snake shot to do that. Gonna hit this. Heal a little bit. Hit it maybe one more time. Just for some extra cash. I'm gonna reroll once because I really want some armor. I didn't get it. That's too bad. I should have maybe picked up this big hearts before I picked up the hearts. Maybe that would have been the smart thing to do. I am equalized. This is good, and I can enhance something. So I've got a bunch of great picks. But I think I'm going to decide on either drill shot or bubble shot. I think bubble shot is the play because it's a little bit more reliable. And I think I might just pump that, yeah. Got some electrifying too. Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, this looks good. I didn't get the armor that I was looking for, but I should be able to kill these elites fast enough that A, I don't need it right now, and B, maybe I'll get some from the chest. Alright, so I got all the elites kind of corralled in the same direction, so now I can just focus on shooting. Elites post-sleep do have like a little bit of extra damage reduction, so this is going to take a little bit longer than it usually does. I actually broke that crystal for some extra attack speed too, because I have adrenaline that I forgot about. Just casually kiting around in a circle. Notice how I am moving forward and backwards every so often. This is in an effort to keep the elite fire skull from spreading out the fire a little bit more. If I'm just going left and right, then it's just going to be shooting left and right, and it's eventually going to bog up my path that I want to do with fire. So just moving in and out haphazardly is really nice to get around that. There's a dagger arc. Yeah, I'm probably just going to take the dagger arc. We'll get rid of streak shot. It served me well, but I think I need to remain equalized from here. That armor. The dagger arc is going to be perfect for the AoE that I need. In fact, I have pretty much the ideal setup of bubble shot, drill shot, thorn shot, and dagger arc. I would say those are 4 of the top 5 enhanceable mods in the game right now. Thing didn't die like I wanted to. That corner's getting a little spicy, so I'm just going to start moving to the other corner where it's probably safer. It'll also give me an opportunity to break rocks. I tend to save shielded enemies for last just so I can break rocks without killing the enemy. Crystal Dividends, perfect. Crystal Dividends is the best econ in the game, in my opinion. So definitely gonna grab that. And I got a glue shot. So glue shot's really tempting because of the glue shot aura shot combo. Glue shot causes your bullets to stick to an enemy and then deal damage after like a delay. The bullet still technically exists during that moment. So while aura shot by itself is usually pretty bad on the bullet weapons because your bullets don't persist long enough to really get much benefit out of aura shot, glue shot makes them stick to the enemy, and the aura shot exists during that time as well. So it's a really, really great way to get some damage going. I normally would probably not take it with time shot because I think it delays damage too much, but I think my damage right now is fine, and if I actually do end up finding an aura shot, then this run will be very locked in, even though it's kind of already locked in. And I went for health here just because I want some armor, briefly. Random chests are fine. I just like, it's sort of a fallback option for me. If like one of the options is really bad, whoa, I got hit by that ice slug. If one of the options is like really bad and my other option is a random chest, like cool, yeah, I'll take the random chest. Or if it's like way later in the run and I don't necessarily need anything specifically, then I'll take it. I'll take more fortitude, I guess. But otherwise, I want that armor. This is the crit angle for sure. It's a healthy pumpkin for sure. Yeah, you can kind of see that like my attacks already are kind of significantly delayed. It's not too bad. Like I'm still gonna be able to kill stuff, especially because like a lot of my damage is coming from thorn shot and drill shot and dagger arc. But otherwise, yeah, it feels like islands are taking longer as a result of that. That's why generally I'll try to like commit to either glue shot or time shot, and either are fine. I think a time shot works really well with crit builds. Glue shot and aura shot does too. Do I want the waves? Yeah, we'll do the waves. Why not? Especially on this map. This is a easy waves. Time shot and crit is like a really accessible build. You could probably go for that build on literally any weapon in the game, and you'll do enough damage to carry you to the end, I promise. Glue shot, aura shot is a little bit harder to put together, mostly because you're going to need to find the aura shot. And, yeah, pretty much just that, honestly. It's just a little bit tougher to put together because of the aura shot. It's also not really great on every weapon. For example, it does not work on blade launcher, flamethrower, and sniper because all of those have some level of inherent pierce. So because your shots pierce the target before they stick, that causes your aura shot to not really stick either. That said, aura shot by itself is really great on blade launcher and flamethrower, so like all the better, truthfully. If you find an aura shot on either of those weapons, it's like a really safe pickup. So if I can dodge this, nice. Hang out in the air for a little bit longer than I normally would. Oh, this is awkward. I'm actually going to cut across right here. The nice thing about stamina, you can kind of just do that. Oh, that's right. I don't need to deal with the homing grub. I think lightning skulls are one of the harder enemies in the game, actually, just because their projectiles are so hard to see a lot of the time. Hey, how long is this video at? About an hour and a half. I think I'll take the big chest. This actually equalizes me too. Big chest is great because it just gives you options. And one of the best ways to get around RNG is having more options. So I'm going to hang out in this corner. Again, I want to make sure that these guys stay, like, come to me and group up in one spot so I can keep track of all of them. If I just suddenly start panicking and moving all around the place, that's when things get a little bit too overwhelming. see some mini pumpkins spawned. Get rid of that barrel real quick. That lightning crab is honestly already dead because of the fire. Some crab of the North Star action right there. I don't need all you can eat because I have the ammo ring. Duplication ring is actually kind of tempting, but I think I'm feeling my damage taper off just a little bit. So I think I need to start committing to my main damage sources, which are my enhanceable mods. Thorn Shot feels fine, so I think I'm going to pump Drill Shot. And here I'm going to go for the luck chest, try to get maybe like a driller, or even better, like a streamer loot or something weird like that. Here, just hurt a starfish, yep. Okay, this is kind of awkward. I'm going to cut through the middle. Use this little bit of a slope for cover. I'm going to need to cut through again. Freeze that. Yes. And now I have everything in front of me. Everything's corralled. I know everything is. I don't think any enemies are like going to be along the path that I'm going to be kiting. Now I can just take things nice and easy. A little frantic for a moment there, just because I needed to cut through a couple of enemies to make sure I didn't get totally surrounded. But not bad. Also got some crystals while I was over there. I'm really trying hard to hit that block to skull. There we go. Wow, a faulty chest. That sounds great. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. I don't really think I need a faulty chest right now. It probably won't even proc more than like 2 or 3 times, if that. There's my armor. About time. Got this health too. I got a lot of money to burn, and also, obviously, the shop totem will just break immediately. So we'll do some enhancements here. What do we want to enhance? I have a lot of options. It's not going to be piercing wave. I think I'll finish off the bubble shot, which is all I'm going to be able to finish off. It got freezing, which is kind of whatever, but I have had situations where freezing comes in handy. I'm not equalized, which is a bit of a bummer. Do I get rid of Time Bolt just to equalize? 2, 4, 6. I'm not equalized anyway because of all the chest. Yeah, we're good. Ooh, oh, that was close. Saving my dash for the last moment when I can avoid stuff with the iframes. Using these pillars as cover. Try to make it to the jump pad. Nice. Man, when I can just single target something, oh boy. Let's see if I can get that Aura shot. Nope. Ethereal armor is probably the play. Yeah, this will just kind of secure my survivability for the rest of the run. As much as I want more damage, like I don't necessarily need more damage. It is falling off just a touch. I'm not doing as much as I would love to, but I am killing stuff. Very clearly I am killing stuff. Meanwhile, if I can just make sure to maintain a lot of armor, that will just make me feel a lot more comfortable. As well as it gives me the option to pick up like a power armor and feel comfortable about that pick. There's another checklist. Yeah, I'll grab that, especially because I'm about to hit a 4 damage. So we're gonna go in the air right here. I'm gonna try to stall. So one really big thing about like the AI in this game is that if you are in the air, enemies will group underneath you. This is like the big reason why the launch pad thing works so well. If you just slow yourself down in the middle, everything just stacks below you, you can just shoot down. Easy flawless because I can't get hit. I'm able to kill a lot of stuff because they're all grouping up for me. It's basically a free black hole, really. The equalizer's tempting here. I think I'm actually going to grab the sharp shot to actually equalize. Sharp shot's obviously like a really great choice, but like right now it's not an amazing choice. Like this heavy hitter is giving me almost as much damage as a sharp shot, so it's nothing super special. And here, definitely a damage combo. I don't need the health chest because of ethereal armor, so we'll just keep pumping the damage. As I mentioned, Driller can proc off of cacti, so just be sure to, it's interesting, break all the cacti before you finish these islands. It's just gonna be a lot of opportunities for free items. I don't necessarily need them anymore. Actually, I'm gonna take the Red Fury to equalize. Seems fair. Nice, on the Horde Island. Right in the back, eh? If you ever struggle with this island, I have found the most success just kind of hanging out right here. It does get a little spicy, but that's when you just jump over everything. Like this. We'll probably get hit right about now. Also nice if you have Ice Blast. I have a lot of money coming in. I didn't even realize. Yes, supercharged. That's a great pickup. I think I want to maintain equalizer though, so I think I'll get rid of the heavy hitter. Kind of forgot that I was actually working with not my full attack speed. I don't really want the bouncing shot. It could be fun, but this isn't the run. And I'm just gonna keep, hey, faulty chest. I'm gonna keep committing, oh my god, faulty chest. I don't want to unequalize. I'm gonna keep trying to grab damage combo and equalizer whenever I can. Any sort of like percentage damage from here on is going to be my priority. Critical arrow sounds great. Can I get a sharpshooter? Mine too. Hey, parkour. Always parkour. That's a rule that I live by. My ideals of crab. Always parkour. Unless like the alternative is an easy double damage or something and you really need the damage. It's probably where I would say you could skip the parkour, but pay respects to the parkour, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of these two. I feel like my attack speed is fine. I think I just want to keep increasing the chance for a drill shot to proc and the amount of damage it does. Especially because I'm probably about to enhance the drill shots. Which, let's review that. Bubble shot's good. I don't want piercing wave. Dagger arc is a really great option for enhancements too, but yes, I got a damaging on it. That's awesome. That's just 100% more damage. And I have a ton of money to spend, so we're just gonna start going a little crazy here. I could probably rock the performance bonus. There's a tasty orange. Can I get rid of something for that? Get rid of the adrenaline. Another poisonous enemies. Yeah, why not? Cool. I do want to kill like the cacti and stuff. I just kind of want to get rid of an elite first. Oh, where the... Is it just 3 elite lightning crabs? Oh. When it comes to elite lightning crabs, your best friend is just distance because their range is relatively short. They can like jump at you, so it can be a little dicey at times. I'm sure if you saw my recent Ultra Chaos run, I think it was day 201 where I commentated it, you would be able to experience the miseries of fighting lightning crabs for all eternity. It was a really, really miserable run. This one appears to be stuck. That's also a great showcase of, like, I tend to really alternate between slowing down. Enemies will always try to shoot at where you are and where they think you're going. If you're slowed down in the air, they're going to shoot at you in the air, and when you drop out of your slow, they're just going to go over you, right? Then, if you stay on the ground, they're going to shoot at you at the ground, and that's where you then go back into the air. And when you get an enemy that has like a lot of horizontal attacks, like the elite lightning crab, into this pattern of like trying to shoot where you are and where they think you're going, you start like controlling their attack patterns yourself, and it becomes less about like your reflexes and responding to them, and more about like predicting their attacks, because you have a better idea of how they're going to be attacking when you get into that flow. It's not 100% foolproof, and it's kind of hard to like explain in action. I have, but as you like watch me do this run, you'll probably notice I exploit that a lot. I think I'll just do more damage shot here. Split shot wouldn't be bad either, but I don't want to really unequalize. This is it. This is the home run stretch. So far, I feel like this has been a pretty fair run. I think I definitely got like strong weapon mods, which may not always be available, like the dagger arc and the thorn shot and stuff like that. But I don't think my damage is totally out of control, and I think everything that is actually contributing to my damage, you know, I set out to grab, and I knew I would get it eventually. Like damage combos and equalizer and stuff like that. That's something that you can play around. It's not all about RNG at that point. And especially once we get into this part of the game, where you're probably more likely to get mods that you already have so you can upgrade them. That's especially where like equalizer really comes into play, because you can just keep focusing on stacking equalizer, damage combo. You don't need to worry about picking up new mods and breaking your equalizer. But you still like get damage coming in. This is kind of why I think like equalizer is really strong. There's always the argument of like, well, if I get more mods than it breaks it, which is true, obviously. But at this current point in the game, I don't really need to get any mods besides equalizer and whatever other damage mods I have. Granted, I have a ton, I guess. And I have a ton of money to work with to be able to do that. But even if I was like, I just had this row filled out, if I had the damage combo here and the equalizer here and the gemstone here, I could just keep pumping equalizer and damage combo, and that would be plenty of damage for the rest of the run. Put a time shot. Go more crit too. In general, like every weapon in the game is really going to be building pretty similarly. You're going to want to find that global damage through like damage combo, equalizer, power armor, checklist, gemstone. There's certain like on hit proc mods and on shot proc mods like dagger arc, thorn shot, spark shot, bubble shot, all of that sort of stuff like that you generally want to play around on all weapons. And from there, the weapon really just determines like really key mods that you want to look out for. I think the most obvious example is like rocket launcher. You want to try to get an arc shot because you know, it just works so well for a rocket launcher. You get so much, you get such a high proc chance from one arc shot, and it multiplies your damage by so much because of like the nature of rocket launcher. So your weapon really just determines those key perks that you want to keep an eye out for, which is why auto rifle is like a really strong weapon to just practice True Nightmare with, because pretty much every mod works well on it. You can do all sorts of builds. As long as you're keeping in mind, like, you need to find some source of global damage, you need to find some sort of mod to really lean into. Even at this run, if I had only found Thorn Shot and, like, I don't know, maybe even just the Piercing Wave, if I only found those two and just kept upgrading those two, I think that would be plenty to carry me throughout the whole run. I don't want any of these. Really hoping for, like, a targeting shot or something. Do the Elite, because I just want to do the fastest option. That lightning crab is probably the most threatening for me. Whoa! Oh, that was spooky. I kill everything at the same time, actually. Hey, I got a performance bonus too. There's the target shot. Yeah, I guess I'll just grab that. Hopefully I can get an R shot to equalize. Nope. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I think my damage should still be good, even if I'm not equalized right now. That was a little awkward. That's fine. This is the point where, like, the fortitude has more than, like, made up for a lot of my max health, I'm sure. And my armor is very tanky. Even if I get hit, I'm not losing that much armor. Oh, what's still alive? Probably a homing grub or something somewhere. Yep. I even got the armor back. Ah, this is it. This is the last island. I grab a stamina, and apparently I salvaged something. It's a faulty chest proc. We will finish up this drill shot, methinks. Yep. With more freezing for some reason, and we'll just pump a lot of this stuff. I don't think I'm equalized, so I'll just grab that. Good measure. Oh, my cat has been laying on my lap this whole time, and my leg is dying. Wow, that was a really bad shot. Actually, gonna get rid of the arc shot and go with triple shot instead. 2, 4, 6. Yep. Let's do this boss island. Oh, yeah. This one, I just typically will run to this launch pad and stay in the air as much as possible. Sometimes the bosses will hit the launch pad themselves and go on the other side of the island, which can kind of make things a little sketchy. Just try your best to drag them to one side and then make your way back to the launch pad. Be sure to focus one boss. If you feel like you're not doing enough damage, like there is an argument that you should kill the ads before you try to kill all the bosses, but I think if you're at this point, you probably should be doing enough damage to kill all of them. And that's it. I'm gonna hit auto loot to pick up all my keys. Crab Island. And yeah, hopefully this showcases that, you know, there's decisions you can make, there's strategies you can employ, there's ways to... Crab Champions is first and foremost a movement shooter before it's a roguelike, in my opinion. There's obviously roguelike elements, but you're not that dependent on RNG in order to, like, win or any given true nightmare run. There's ways that you can exploit, like, the movement shooter side of things to win runs, and that's where a lot of, like, the skill expression comes through the game. So hopefully this does a pretty good job of showing that off. I'll try to do more of these since it sounds like they're pretty helpful. If you did find it helpful, feel free to leave me a comment. It's always helpful to know, like, exactly what value you got out of it. I really appreciate that sort of feedback, so I can kind of focus on that. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and as always, please respect and enjoy the crab.